Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. In this video, I want to show you 3 simple steps to get you work in the press. Now, warning, this is if you're like an artist and you feel your work is good enough to get published, you're happy with your work, you get good feedback, you feel you are at the level of your mentors, you're getting great response, you're confident that the world needs to see your art. Well, if that's your case, stay tuned. I'm going to show you a really simple method and I'm going to tell you a story that totally changed my life on how to get into the press. Now, I struggled a lot as a photographer, and today I've been published in the press with, I think, hundreds and hundreds, probably close to 1,000 articles. For example, I've been writing for this magazine called Digital Photographer, one of the biggest magazines in the UK. I think I did about 8 numbers now. 1 article on Photoshop, 1 on Lightroom, over at least, almost a year worth of articles. I was published in Sony magazines, at least 10 pages. Canon magazines, about 10 pages. Nikon magazine, about 10 pages. Did the cover of Location Shouting in Los Angeles. I worked twice for National Geographic and published in many French newspapers. Guys, really quick, below this video you have a link to the 5-day deal. We are right in the middle of it. There's just a couple of days left. What it is over 25 photographers got together, donated each one of their main product. I gave my Florida Sky this year. It's $2,200 worth of tutorial for $89. If there's only one thing you should buy this year, this is it. Get it on the link below, you'll love it. I've also been writing a column for over almost 3 years now for Lightroom magazine with over 30 different articles. So I work a lot with the specialist price of photography and I love it. I love reading it, I love buying it. You know, what I love about art press like photography is that there's no bad news, it's only techniques, it's only sharing the beauty of this world, and I love that. But let me tell you a story that literally changed my life 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I remember all my life, it was a Sunday morning. I was bored, it was raining outside, it was in the winter, and I was watching some tutorials and I came across a tutorial from Joel Grimes. Now, Joel was one of my mentors. I look up to Joel. We became friends since that moment. But it was the first time I met him. And he was doing a lecture on getting a job as a photographer. And here is the trick that he gave me. And here is how I applied it and how it changed my life and how it might change yours. So here's a story from Joel Grimes. I hope, Joel, I do not alter the story the way you said it. I must have been in 2008, I think. So about 13 years ago. Anyway, the story goes like this. Joel just moved into Los Angeles or Chicago, and he was a commercial photographer, and he wanted to get a job. And so what he did is he figured out that he wanted to work for agencies. Agencies work for brand, and they hire commercial photographers. So if you're like UPS and you want to do an ad, you don't go to a photographer, you go to an agency, and that agency has a lot of photographers, and then will hire a photographer. So he listed out all the agencies of, I forgot if it was Los Angeles or Chicago, I think one of the 2 cities. He listed out all the agencies that he wanted to work with. He got, I don't know how he got the name of the agencies, but he had it. He said it was about 30 agencies that he wanted to work for. And here is what he did I think is marvelous. Every Monday at every agency, he sent a print of one of his a beautiful print, probably like legal paper or A4, as we say in France, of one of his photos. And he would write a handwritten letter, very important, to the art director of that agency saying, my name is Joel Grimes, I'd love to work for you, this is what I do. And so it was the same photo that was sent to all 30 agencies, art directors. The next Monday, he would send another photo to all the 30 directors with a handwritten letter saying, hey, my name is Joel, this is what I do, I'd love to work for you. And he did that for 4 Mondays in a row. So he sent a total of like 120 photos, 4 different photos to 30 agencies, 120 different photos. By mail, not by email, by mail, very important. And then he called all the agencies and says, maybe you received, I've been sending you for a few weeks one of my photos. I'd love to get an interview with you guys, see if we can work together. This is what I do as a photographer. I send you a few samples. Can we take a meeting? And he ended up working for half of all these agencies. It was extremely successful. it gave him a lot of money and job for years. And when I heard that story, I was like, I don't want to be a commercial photographer, but what if that would work for the press? So I got up out of my bed after watching the tutorials. I went to the next store that I could find that was selling press, and I bought all the newspapers that I really enjoyed at the time, that I was reading mostly on photography, because this is what I've loved. And that brings me to my tip number 1, which is gather the magazines you want to get published into, and put your attention on magazines that you actually buy and you actually enjoy. This is what I did. I bought all the magazines that I was actually reading, not every month, but from time to time. I bought the magazines. I located the name of the editor-in-chief of that magazine. And that brings me to tip number 2, very important. Tell a story. So I wrote a story, how I was a salesman and I wanted to do something else with my life than just being a salesman. And that every night after work, I would go out and take photos of Paris, and I would do a lot of HDRs. And at the time, I was doing a lot of crazy HDR. In the end, every one of them published my story. So starting with Chasseur d'Images, they published this photo of the Arc de Triomphe in the middle of the magazine. You know, just give me credit, but I thought it was kind of cool. Le Monde de la Photo just did 1 page, you know, with, you know, talking about my work and my story a little bit. But crazy, PhotoFan, which was one of the magazines that works with Chasseur d'Images, they put me on the cover, you see in small, and they did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-page article on me. And then Photoshop's cool because I was teaching Photoshop, did like a 2-page article on it. And Réponse Photo did also 1-page article on it. So they actually, with 6 magazines, they all published it. Now what's crazy about it is years later, when I wanted to move to the US, I wanted to do a celebrity green card, and I got it approved by the US government because of all these press articles. That took me one Sunday afternoon. That's the first press I ever got. I got it translated and sent, and that was the main reason I got a celebrity visa to move to the US. So this story, that one Sunday afternoon, literally changed my life. Oh, by the way, guys, this is not a sponsored video, but if you want to know my life story, check out this masterclass that I called Finding Your Voice as a Photographer. You know, if you feel like you haven't found your voice, you don't know exactly what your style is, I have a really cool method to help you find your voice. Every being is unique and every being has a different voice. Check it out. Watch the masterclass. It's right down below. I think you're going to like it. Now, one little trick I want to give you, it's very simple, is because you cannot send CDs anymore. You know, back then you could, but not anymore. I'll give you a trick, which is really cool. You can use Google Photos, you can see here, which is like totally free. The good thing about Google Photos is you can upload high resolution photos. They need high resolution photo. Yeah, and the people can just right click and save the image as, and they'll get the actual high resolution photo. It's totally free, it's Google Photo. Now how you cannot give that crazy link to the press because they won't be able to do it. And here's the trick. You copy that article once you created your album of your best photo. So basically in the letter, you said you can download the high resolution with this address, but you need to give them something that's very easy to type. So if you send them a photo.google/blah, blah, blah, it's not going to work, right? So you take your big long URL and you go to tiny.cc, you paste your long URL, it's totally free. You click on shorten and you can customize it. I can call it Serge Ramelli, okay? I've already done it actually, so I don't know if it's going to work because I was testing this. And basically that's the URL. Yeah, you're going to get tiny.cc Serge Ramelli. And you can put that into, look, tiny.cc/Serge Ramelli. You can put your name on it and boom, they're going to get the high resolution. They can download it and publish it in the press. So that, but you still have to print your photos. You still have to print a letter, you know, handwrite it if you have a good handwriting, or just type it and just send it to your favorite. If your story is strong and your photos are strong, you will get published, because working with newspapers now for the last 2-3 years very intensively, every month I have to come up with 3 articles on 3 different magazines. They need content. They need absolute content. So voila. All right, guys. So I hope you like this. I hope you get very famous and published in the press. I've been hiding this trick for 15 years and now you have it. I'll see you in another video. Au revoir.